Why do you feel that wave of panic when they don't text back? You know they might just be busy, but something deeper takes over. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race, and your mind starts replaying every word you sent. It's not about being needy. It's about fear, the kind your body still remembers, even when your mind tries to stay calm. Here's the truth. When someone you care about goes silent, your brain doesn't just think. They're probably occupied. It sends a danger signal. For people with anxious attachment tendencies, that quiet moment feels like emotional abandonment, even if it's temporary. Your nervous system goes into overdrive, flooding your body with stress hormones, preparing you for loss that might never come. Let's slow down for a second. Imagine your brain like a smoke alarm that never got updated. It still goes off every time it smells toast. Not because there's a fire, but because it hasn't learned the difference yet. That's what happens when love once felt unpredictable. The alarm doesn't know you're safe now. It only knows that silence once meant pain. This fear didn't start with texting. It's much older. When care was inconsistent, when affection came and went without warning, your body learned that love could vanish. So now, a simple pause in communication can feel like emotional danger. The heart beats faster, your thoughts scan for rejection, and before you know it, you're caught between logic and panic. And this is where most people get it wrong. They call it clinginess or overreaction. But what you're experiencing isn't about control or attention. It's about safety. Your body is trying to protect you from what it believes is abandonment. That's why you can tell yourself, it's fine, they'll text later, and still feel the dread rising. Notice what happens in those moments. Maybe you check your phone over and over, hoping for the small burst of relief that a message brings. You reread your last text, trying to decode your tone, wondering if you sounded too eager or too cold. You might even craft new messages in your head, something light, something casual, just to re-establish connection. Because when love feels uncertain, reassurance feels like oxygen. Have you ever felt that low hum of shame afterward? The thought, why can't I be more chill? That shame is another layer of protection. It's your brain trying to keep you from scaring people off, the same way you once learned to minimize your needs to stay loved. Here's the truth most people miss. Your need for reassurance isn't weakness, it's communication. It's your body saying, please remind me that love can stay. Think about what happens physically when they don't reply. Your chest tightens, your breath shortens, your thoughts start chasing worst-case scenarios. This isn't drama, it's biology. Cortisol and adrenaline rise, preparing you to respond to perceived loss. That's why you can't focus or relax until that ping finally comes through. And when it does, your whole body exhales. Proof that you were never seeking control, just safety. Let's pause here. Notice your shoulders for a moment. Are they tense? Are you leaning forward slightly, waiting? That posture, the subtle forward reach, mirrors the emotional posture of anxious attachment. Always leaning toward love, hoping it stays, terrified it won't. You're not too much for feeling this way. You're simply someone whose nervous system learned to associate silence with danger. The fear feels irrational in the present, but it made perfect sense back when connection wasn't consistent. The good news? That alarm system can be retrained. It starts by understanding that your panic isn't proof something's wrong. It's proof you're longing to feel secure. Because when you realize it's fear, not neediness, you can stop fighting yourself for wanting love. You can begin to meet your panic with compassion, not shame. Let's look at what this fear actually looks like in everyday life. The subtle ways it shows up without you even realizing it. You send a message that feels thoughtful and open. Maybe it's something simple like, "How was your day?" Hours pass and there's no reply. At first, you tell yourself it's fine, but slowly, a quiet panic starts to build. You refresh your messages, you check if they've been online, you even scroll back through your conversation, reading your last text again to make sure it didn't sound too eager. The silence grows heavier. You start to imagine what it means. Maybe they're losing interest, maybe they're upset, maybe you said too much. By the time they finally reply, you've spent hours managing emotions that were never actually about the text. They were about the weight. Here's another version of the same pattern. You finally meet someone kind, consistent, emotionally available. At first, it feels safe, but that safety also feels unfamiliar. You find yourself picking at tiny flaws, questioning if they really like you, or suddenly feeling bored. It's not disinterest, it's your nervous system reacting to calm as if it's danger. When love has always felt unpredictable, peace can feel suspicious. And sometimes this pattern shows up not as panic, but as over-effort. You become the one who checks in first, plans the dates, fills the silence. You tell yourself you're just being thoughtful, but underneath you're trying to prevent the ache of waiting, to control the outcome before it can hurt you. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think the solution is to just stop caring. But you can't turn off attachment. It's wired into every human being. The goal isn't to stop caring, it's to teach your body that caring doesn't have to feel like panic. Let's slow down for a second. Notice what happens in your body when you think about someone not replying. Does your stomach tighten? Do you feel that flutter in your chest? The one that almost feels like falling? That's your body remembering every time connection once disappeared without explanation. Here's the truth. The moment you sense distance, your brain rushes to fill the gap. It writes stories before facts exist. You might think, they're ignoring me, or I said something wrong. But your brain isn't trying to be cruel. It's trying to protect you. It believes that predicting rejection will soften the blow if it happens. This is the part most people miss. That panic is just a nervous system trying to find safety in uncertainty. The problem isn't your feelings, it's your interpretation of them. Let's imagine a small shift. Instead of reading silence as rejection, what if you saw it as data, neutral information that doesn't yet mean anything? You could tell yourself, they haven't replied yet. That's all I know right now. That single thought interrupts the spiral. It moves you from story-making to awareness. You can also use this pause as a moment of self-care instead of self-criticism. When your heart starts racing, place a hand over your chest. Take one slow breath and say quietly, "It's okay to want reassurance. It's okay to be afraid." That tiny act of naming what's happening rewires your response over time. You're teaching your body that emotions don't have to equal emergencies. Maybe you've noticed that when they finally reply, relief floods your body almost instantly. Your mind calms, your chest loosens, and for a moment, everything feels right again. But this relief doesn't last because it depends on someone else's actions. The next time they take too long, the panic returns, stronger than before. That's the emotional loop anxious attachment creates. Fear, relief, fear again. It's exhausting because it keeps your sense of safety outside yourself. But there's good news. Safety can move inward. You can learn to regulate the panic before the reply arrives. And when you do, love begins to feel steadier, less like a storm to survive and more like a space to rest. In the next part, we'll explore how to break that cycle gently, how to calm your nervous system, trust your own stability, and build real safety from the inside out. Here's the truth most people don't realize. The opposite of anxious attachment isn't detachment. It's emotional safety. You don't need to stop caring or stop texting. You just need to feel safe enough that someone else's delay doesn't collapse your peace. Let's slow down for a second. Notice your breath right now. If it's shallow, let it deepen just a little. That's how regulation begins. Not with grand effort, but with awareness. When you notice yourself spiraling after silence, try this first. Name what's happening. Say softly, "This is my fear of abandonment waking up." It sounds simple, but naming it separates you from it. You move from being the panic to observing it. That tiny distance creates calm. Second, pause before reacting. When you feel the urge to check your phone again or send another message, give yourself 1 minute. In that minute, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. You might even place your hand over your heart and remind yourself, "I'm safe right now." This isn't about ignoring your feelings. It's about calming the alarm before you act from it. Third, rewrite the story. Instead of assuming rejection, practice neutral thoughts. "They haven't replied yet. That's all I know." Or, "People take time to respond. It doesn't mean I've done something wrong." Each time you reframe, you're teaching your brain that uncertainty doesn't always lead to loss. Over time, these small repetitions build emotional stability the way muscles build strength. Here's the part most people get wrong. They believe the solution is to find someone who never triggers their anxiety. But no partner can give you absolute safety. Even the most loving person will sometimes be quiet, distracted, or distant. Real healing begins when you stop outsourcing your calm and start creating it from within. And you can do that by building internal reassurance. When silence starts to feel unbearable, instead of waiting for a message, reach for your own voice. You could write a short journal note, "I'm feeling scared because I care." You could call a friend who helps you stay grounded. You could even go outside, feel the air on your skin, and remind yourself that life is still moving. Each of these moments retrains your nervous system to find safety inside presence, not prediction. Here's the truth. You're not asking for too much when you crave reassurance. You're asking for something you didn't consistently receive. That need isn't shameful, it's human. And the more compassion you give that part of yourself, the less power fear has over you. Let's take one last pause. Notice your shoulders again. Let them drop slightly. That softening, right there, is healing in real time. Because when you can feel panic rising and still choose to breathe, to stay gentle, to stay curious, you're rewriting the meaning of love in your body. You're teaching your nervous system a new truth, that love can stay even through silence. So, the next time they don't text back, try this. Instead of waiting for the sound of your phone to calm you, listen for the sound of your own breath. That's what safety feels like. Not the absence of fear, but the presence of self-trust. You don't have to earn love by being easy or perfect. You just have to remind yourself over and over that you are already worthy of calm connection, even when the screen stays quiet. Before you go, tell me in the comments, which part of this message felt most like you? When someone doesn't text back, what story does your mind start to tell? And what new story do you want to practice instead?